Ready, Sally?
Grimore, I've been standing here for 7.5 minutes.
Just checking.
Two things. First, Tangle Tower is a puzzle game. Second, it's about 8 hours long, so don't go expecting massive explosions or motion captured characters, etc, etc. It's a small, hand-drawn game. You play the role of two characters, they go around as a pair, Detective Grimoire and Sally. And honestly, I can't tell which one of them is supposed to be in charge. I suspect the answer is neither.
A hammock. It's kind of worn out.
I would politely describe it as lived in. It's a barometer, but it's broken.
I've never seen a barometer that wasn't broken.
They are here to investigate a murder of one of the residents of Tangle Tower, who appears to have been murdered by a painting she was working on.
The outline of Freya Fellow. Looks like she fell onto her back. There's a single patch of blood, right in the middle. No real signs of a struggle.
That's weird.
What?
Her feet were right up by the canvas.
So?
So she was probably standing really close to the canvas when she fell.
Let's check the case file again.
Now, if you've played similar looking point and click style games before, you may be confused as to how you move around at first. You don't click on the path in the scene. Instead, you open the map and select your destination.
It's a garden. I think. It's currently far away.
We could walk closer to it.
Ready when you are.
Most games these days do have a fast travel system. This game only has a fast travel system. I do like the art style. It gives the impression that in real life people have subtle body movements, though it does also give the impression that everyone has ants in their pants.
She'll still be your niece.
But she'll depart from the world of the pointers and join the fellows. Like rats deserting a sinking ship.
It starts off relatively simple sounding, and over the course of the game gathers pace and complexity as the motive for the murder becomes more apparent. With 9 suspects and more than a screen's worth of clues to collect over 2 towers of rooms, you've got your work cut out for you. Naturally, the inhabitants don't make things easy for you, determined as they are to keep their personal secrets, regardless of whether it impedes your investigation or not. They're so helpful like that.
Does Florin normally keep something in here?
She must do, but I admit I've never managed to work out what.
Why not just ask her?
I feel like if somebody keeps something locked away in a ceramic egg, it's because they don't want to be asked about it.
Rules to live by.
So, we found some research. What's up with this golden beetle? Is this something you're studying?
I can't help you, I'm afraid. I think it must be something left behind by a previous inhabitant of Tangle Tower. I'm not the first scientist to ever walk these halls, you know.
Well, it wasn't in the halls. It was in your astronomy tower.
You can talk to the suspects about every single thing and other suspect you've encountered, including themselves. And everyone and everything is fully voiced.
Freya Fellow is of great interest to me. I perceived her to be the most intelligent individual here at Tangle Tower. Within a day, she had identified for whom I was working and for what I was searching. I didn't know how she did it. I was impressed. I regret that I did not question her more thoroughly when I had the opportunity.
You couldn't have known she was about to be killed, though.
I have only myself to blame for failing to perceive the signs.
What signs?
I do not wish to do your job for you, Detective.
Hard of head, but free of mind. Unimprisoned, unconfined. With starry eyes, she sees beyond. Behind our walls, beneath our pond. A soul untied, it's hers, it's free. Was then, is now, will ever be.
It may be a murder mystery, but the game isn't the depressing kind. This is more a family-friendly murder mystery, so there's plenty of time for the odd gag sprinkled throughout.
Can't say I've ever taken an interest in Uncle's astronomy. On occasion I've dared to visit him in his tower, but I always regret it. It's all just a little too abstract for me.
What do you mean?
Oh, did you know the sun is apparently over 400,000 miles wide? Okay, so what should I do with that information? How does it help me?
Don't look at me. You're the one who memorized it.
Oh, and I love the comedic sound effect whenever someone realises something awkward.
Name, Haksha. Age, unknown. Profession, private detective. Likes, quote, being left alone. Dislikes, quote, being constantly badgered by a weirdo nerd with a clipboard.
Besides finding the clues and talking to people, there are actually a smattering of puzzles to solve, all of which inexplicably lock away some vital clue for your investigation. You do have to pay attention to the clues as you play, because every so now and again, you'll be required to question one of the suspects more closely, as something they said doesn't quite line up with what you've already found out. When this happens, you'll have to pick the correct topics and lines to form a coherent hypothesis. So if you haven't been listening to a damn thing anyone has said so far, you're going to find these bits a bit tricky. In all fairness, they're not that hard, in fact. Aside from maybe a couple of them that threw me. Yeah, okay, it might just be me that wasn't listening. Now, all that said, the game is determined you enjoy yourself, no matter whether you're Sherlock Holmes or Inspector Clouseau. Each conversation screen keeps track of what you've asked the suspect. Each puzzle has a Solve Me button you have to click in order to complete it. But if you've got the solution wrong, the game gives out a vague hint about what you're supposed to be doing. If you do it again, it'll give you more pointed directions, and at some point it just gives up on you and straight up tells you the solution. And the map even has a "Where the hell do I go next?" button, if, like me, you can't find that final clue you're missing. Now for me, I would have preferred a separate Solve Me and Hint button for the puzzles. On the egg sorting puzzle, I was a bit stumped, but because the Solve button also gives you a hint, it practically handed me the solution after just 3 failed attempts. I'd have appreciated a bit more time to work on it. I might have gotten there in the end. The game just didn't let me work it out for myself. I mean, I suppose I could have put my hands over my eyes, but you don't know exactly how much help it's going to give you until it's already given it, you know what I mean?
Poppy and I are friends.
Oh, I can buy that. Dark clothes, blue hair, an average of 3 words per sentence. Oh, you're like 2 peas in a pod.
She's very kind, and she has an interest in plants. Unusual flowers, mostly. I've been teaching her.
Right.
Is something wrong?
Someone who is actually interested in murder mysteries came up with this one. It's a page-turner, figuratively speaking. It's not one you can solve in 5 seconds, but you may solve it before the sleuths do. You'd be forgiven for thinking at times that the game's extensive help system is treating you like a moron that you need help with tying your shoes after 40 years of practice. But that help doesn't usually kick in unless you actually seem stuck. The characters and intrigue keep you hooked until the end, it did me at any rate, and even if at times you're not entirely sure where the plot is going, you will be pulled through it by the 2 leads and their deductions. If you're a fan of murder mysteries, maybe this one might be worth checking out.
More handwritten sheet music.